ones.
Good afternoon, everyone, to this month's Supplement of the Month. I'm Kat Bearfield, Vice President of Nutrition Services and Head Dietitian. We have our founder and CEO, Neil Spruce, and we have our top dotFIT educator, Eve Carlin, in the house. We are honored that you guys are here to share this hour with us on dotFIT nutrition education. And we'll be covering fat loss products today. Perfect timing, the weather's getting warm, people want to shed some body fat. So Neil's going to do a little bit of a sort of a dive into some science, more practical application, and then marketing materials that you will get as part of the follow-up to this webinar. So if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. I'll monitor as we go along. And then as always, we can have an open discussion after the presentation for as long as you would like to. So Neil, what do you got, about 40 minutes or so of content? And then we can open for Q&A?
Content, 40 minutes of content, then we'll get right into the feedback, Q&A, everything else. Yep.
Okay. All right. So let's get started. Over to you, Neil.
All right. Thanks, everyone. So I'll always have the introduction slide here. So you all your new trainers remember who we are and who you partnered with on all that. But this is your library. So you have the custom group has its own dotFIT YouTube channel. And Kat can make sure you guys have access to all this if you don't know where it is. Many of our clubs have their own LMS, so the recording will go into that. But this is specific to just your group, this group that's on here today. And that's actually sectioned out for these custom group seminars. So the first one we did was the intro, the history of the why. We did that in February, and then we did all proteins. So that we covered the most important ones, and amino formula are probably our #1 recovery product that we have out there. And today we're going to cover the fat loss products. What I do want you to know, though, I'm going to spend the first 15 minutes doing an introduction to what we really are supposed to be doing for every person on the planet, for that matter, but for certainly all your clients and family. What do we need? What is the minimum we need to do anytime anybody wants to lose body fat? And it's not starting out with weight loss liver support. It's not starting out with Thermic. It's doing everything that we need to from a health professional standpoint as they lose body fat. So I'm going to cover that first. But these are the products here. I put a little one-liner next to each one. We're going to end with this. But I always like to start with it too. I'm not going to talk to it right now, but it's real simple. I mean, what these things do are actually listed right on the label. Also makes it pretty simple. Just take a look at that and it'll tell you pretty much what it's supposed to do. And they all do what they're supposed to do if you take them properly. And there's some other things that go along with that as well. But the bottom line is safe and effective body fat reduction tools, including 3 powerful natural aids that work to accelerate results, help you feel better daily. More importantly, though, to get people hooked, they see a significant change weekly. Because if you're not, you're doing something wrong. And it's not because you're not in the gym, because I know you're there. It's because of what you're doing outside the gym. And any of these products, don't forget, can be discontinued when you get to your goal. That's a big conversation for someone. They feel very comfortable. They have no problem purchasing it at that time when you say that's up front. And I'll show you how that kind of all flows together. So yeah, I know you guys already know this, but just being in the health business, we're an evidence-based company, so we don't ever wander outside the lines of science. The bottom line is this is our position, so it should be your position. And I know it is already, but just a reminder, because almost everybody regains weight in the first year. And by the way, it's 95% of the people that lose weight gain it back in 5. Over 80% gain it back in the first year. And that's, so we know that dieting just doesn't work. So therefore, we always recommend exercise. And I'm not worried about it because they're in the gym. They came to us. We do everything through the health clubs. We call that voluntary movement, and a calorie controlled meal plan. So that's pretty obvious, right? And a safe rate of weight loss. But here's where we differ from everybody. We avoid the loss of lean body mass. No one else does that. By filling nutrient gaps exacerbated by restricted calorie intake, obviously. Take out calories, obviously you're taking out nutrition. So the bottom line is we need to fill those gaps or we're going to lose muscle. If we lose muscle, you are doomed to that #1 thing up here. You're going to gain the weight back, period. That's going to happen. So that includes adequate protein and a multivitamin, and that is not negotiable. And then we can go beyond that. We can not just fill the gaps, preserve lean body mass, but we can lessen the workload by some of the other things we're going to talk about. That's what we're going to talk about mainly today. Avoid plateaus, otherwise you'll give up. Increase the amount of calories you burn without having you do more work, and manage appetite. So again, that's our position, and why we are so different than everybody else. So what I'm going to do is quick background. I told you the first 10, 15 minutes is going to be about this. It's going to be setting you up to be able to set up your conversations with your clients that want to lose body fat, or family members, or anybody you talk to. The importance of dietary support during body fat loss, right? So you start out right here. Here's your first question to Mr. or Mrs. Jones, Joey or Julie, doesn't matter. Do you want to lose only body fat, or do you want to lose weight? In other words, body fat and muscle, lean body mass. No one has ever said the latter. Just letting you know, you're set up now to win with that question. All right, so what do we need to do that? We need to feed muscle and starve body fat. So our first job isn't giving someone a thermic cell, it isn't giving somebody creatine or any of these things that are goal enhancers. The first thing we need to do is support your structural and functional integrity. Because if we don't do that, you're going to gain the weight back. And that requires an individualized multivitamin mineral, which of course we have for every gender and life phase, and 1 gram per pound of protein daily. Now, then we can get into the fun stuff, making a job easier, turn 12 weeks of work into 6, and these are the products we're going to talk about. But let's take a look at this first. Let's do a summary real quickly of why we supplement. And there's the answer. We supplement to only lose body fat while simultaneously maintaining, and I can actually build muscle simultaneously. You tell that even to a scientist, they go, that's impossible. We do it every single day with thousands and thousands of people and millions over the years we've been doing it by feeding muscle, starving fat. So here's, I always like to set everything up this way for everybody. Should you supplement? When people would ask about, I gotta lose weight, should I supplement? Well, if you want to lose weight, that's a different conversation. That's your choice. If you don't want to supplement, it's your choice, but beware and lay out the beware if you want to lose weight. Because by the way, you're going to lose weight amputating an arm. You're 10 pounds lighter. So, so weight is really a strange word when it comes to this. That's why I had introduced body fat measurements into the gym back in the early 80s in Venice. It was because I'm getting you to lose only body fat, and I'm proving you're losing 10 pounds of body fat versus 10 pounds of weight, half muscle, half fat. Because the scale doesn't go down as fast, and that's the upside to using weight loss without supplementing. The scale will go down faster in the very beginning only because you're losing muscle and body fat. The body has to get rid of what uses the calories when you drop the calories. And muscle and organs and all these different parts of your body use way more calories than body fat. Uses very little. So the body goes into that mode of getting rid of both parts. And up to 50% of it can be lean body mass. Just understand that. So obviously the number is going to go down faster. Well, that leads to the downside. Early plateaus. So as soon as your body adjusts to taking those lower calories, I got to keep lowering your calories. Keep lowering your calories, your appetite's out of control. You start craving things you never even liked before. Accelerated cravings, anything. And you now, because you keep dropping the calories and you're not supplementing, all your micronutrients are disappearing. And that's what feeds muscle. That's what feeds your organs. That's what feeds everything. That's what makes your brain work, controls your appetite. Of course, you're out of control. And one thing, remember, you have less energy because your muscle, you're not just losing muscle, you're losing organ size. Your livers, all of your splanchnic areas, all these things, you're losing that as well. Your body has to get rid of what's burning these calories. And that leads to you having decreasing energy, and you don't want to even move that much. And you're miserable. And of course, that's the greater chance of the rebound that we know that happens right across the board. The more lean body mass you lose, the greater chance of a rebound, because you can't sustain this extremely low calorie intake. But here's the other part. Your body composition has been compromised, both structurally and visually. We refer to skinny fat. I'm not making any judgments on people. That's all it is. There's just no tone. People always talk about that. Now, would you like to lose only fat loss? It is not negotiable. You will supplement. You have no choice. We're going to add nutrients with little to no calories. The upside is exactly the reverse of this. We're going to preserve lean body mass. That'll avoid the plateau because you're not getting rid of those things that burn calories. That'll support your appetite. You have less diet stress. Supports simultaneously gaining muscle if you want to, and increasing the amount of calories you burn because I'm keeping muscle and maybe even adding a little. Maintain and improve your health because your micronutrient status is feeding all the things it needs to. All your vitamin mineral activities are back up to where they should be while you're losing fat. Improve their structural and functional integrity because I'm keeping your bones solid, I'm keeping your organs solid, and keeping your muscles solid by feeding what they need. And your body composition then is generally healthy and it visually desirable. That's the tone. People go, I want to be toned. All tone means you want to lose the body fat around your muscle. That's all it means. Nothing more than that. That stuff jiggling, isn't your muscle. That's the body fat around it. It reduces the rebound potential, as we just said. And the downside is just the one upside on this. In the very beginning, your weight isn't going to go down as quickly because I'm actually keeping your muscle. Otherwise, you're going to lose a pound of fat, pound of muscle, pound of fat, pound of muscle, half a pound of muscle, pound of fat. That's the way it's going to go. So obviously, it's going to go down quicker, but you're a miserable human being in that situation, and you're going to rebound. In the beginning, for us, it's going to go a little bit slower, then it's going to go rapidly when it comes to that. If your weight is something you're concerned with, all I care about is measuring your body fat, and you're going down in numbers. And let's put a picture behind that. And these are all real deal numbers that you're looking at here. Let's take a young female here that wants to lose 50 pounds, weighs 170. These are the numbers. This is what she will look. This is exactly what this person will lose during conventional dieting. Conventional dieting being all the weight loss centers that you know of, all the ones next to you, all the ones around, all the ones you see on TV. She will lose 30 pounds of fat and 20 pounds of muscle, but she'll get down to her 120 if she hangs in there. And this is a pretty good shot of what she would look like. And there are no judgments here. That's a great look. She looks good, and she may be happy with that. If she came to us, to you, she's going to be able and does what we tell her to do, supplementing properly. She will lose 46 pounds of fat in the same period, if not faster, and gain 5 pounds of muscle if she wants to, depending on the workout. And you have a different look. And I'm not judging anybody by any look, but here's what I am judging you on. If you take conventional diets, you got the 90%, there's no exaggeration there, chance of a rebound. You have a 90% chance of being hooked on fitness over here. And that's what we want. So that's your way of doing it versus conventional dieting. And you're going to leverage this all day. Now take a guy, make it even. See, a guy won't lose as much lean body mass because they have higher testosterone levels than women. So this guy, this is real numbers though. 200 pounds, wants to lose 40 pounds, smaller version of his former self. No judgment. I'm just telling you, that's what you got. Over with us, we'll put 10 pounds because again, a young guy with got regular testosterone, that's an easy thing to do while losing 40 pounds of fat, and you've got a different look. No judgment. I'm not saying you need to prefer one look over the other. That doesn't mean anything. It's all about the rebound, period. Nothing more than that. So I summarized this, and this is something you can use when you're training all the trainers in your club. Just print this out. And all the other, you don't need the other stuff. It's right here. I put everything here for you. There's conventional dieting. That's you. Conventional dieting. That's you. So the summary to all that is our fat loss versus conventional weight loss. We end up with a stronger versus a weaker structure and function. And you are also, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, becoming rebound resistant. Long-term desired result with complete nutrition, feeding muscle, starving fat by incorporating nutrients with little to no calories. So we're actually controlling your body composition the way you want it, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, while creating a healthier, stronger, high-performing structure. Exactly the opposite of conventional dieting. Okay, so how do we do that? We haven't even got to the good stuff yet. What do we have to do there? Our first job is to do just what I showed you. Preserve and improve structural and functional integrity. There's only two things they need for that. So this is the minimum play for your type body fat reduction. We already know what I'm going to say. We already talked about it. Exercise, they're there, so I'm not worried about that. They came to us in the gym. That's done. The calorically correct diet. They can't just eat everything and anything, and take a multivitamin and get the right amount of protein and lose weight, right? But they can eat what they want as long as they don't eat too much of it, okay? And that's what the bottom line is there. And of course, we have programs for that, and we'll be able to monitor that weekly. Bottom line is they have to take a multivitamin as soon as they have their calories below their maintenance, and we will feed muscle and starve fat with adequate protein. So that's it. So these are the two essential items that we have to give everybody as baseline, and you guys have seen it 100 times. And again, here's one thing you may not know, and this is a take home for all of you. about multivitamin users. Well, first of all, it's pretty obvious. We all have shortages. You've seen this chart from us a million times. This is the current shortages from dietary foods. Everyone's in 5 to all of these categories. And every one of your systems is vitamin mineral dependent. So your cardio system, your energy system, muscular, brain, central immune system, everything is, right? Therefore, your weight loss results are vitamin mineral dependent. And now that we have these diets, it's worse, 100 times worse. You got people following paleos, ketos, vegans, and they go on these weight loss diets. Yeah, the diet, you're going to lose weight, but now you're really missing these nutrients. So these are all the missing nutrients from these diets. So these are recommended supplements that you have to take, whether you like it or not. You have to. That's good for our business, but bad for people that don't know us. So it's worse now. So we need to make sure that they're getting that. So you take these known shortages, and all these people, that means their weight loss results are functioning right here. So this is just a quick summary of that. We got to get them over here without adding calories. We can get them right here without adding calories. And that's the purpose of a multivitamin mineral, because all activities are dependent. Muscles, organs, bones, appetite support, stress management, immune system, all the things that go bad, they support that. Most importantly, appetite mechanisms. So these are facts. You ready? So this is your take home on the multivitamin. Multivitamin users, facts versus non-users. These are evidence-based facts. They are leaner than non-users. They use energy better from fat rather than muscle or glycogen than non-users. They increase the amount of calories they burn and the energy levels they have daily, and they have improved appetite control. So this is just taking a simple 30 cents a day multivitamin. And there's a presentation. Whenever I'm working with somebody, I spin the multivitamin presentation to fat loss. So your multivitamin presentation for body fat reduction. All vitamin minerals are the spark plugs in all our body cells. If you want them all firing at full capacity, you need to pick up where diet leads off. And obviously your diet's been compromised because you're trying to lose weight. So you have it right here. So all systems, appetite, stress, all these things are dependent. We need to make sure your systems are operating at 100% without adding calories, compared to 60 to 85 from food alone. And you have one for every customer. And the other part is also make sure you tell them this: maximize energy and all fat loss mechanisms, including burning more fat, less craving. So I transfer that information over to this one-liner, print this out for your trainers or your clients anytime without adding calories. And there you have it. And then you can't find this in the store. It is a 4-in-1 complete. So there's no price argument whatsoever. It would cost you $55 a month to replace this, and it's only $19 a month. So it's all your stuff you need to know on that, based on, skewing it towards someone with a fat loss goal. All right, so we just covered that. That's done deal. Protein's easy, right? You understand that. All our muscles are protein. If we can give it more during a calorie reduction, we can hold on to more protein. And there's some big numbers with that. Protein is also more satiating than carbs and fat. So by bringing your protein up, and sometimes you have to go higher than this. Many of you out there know that if you ever dieted for competition, you go way higher than this, 1.5 grams, sometimes 2 grams per pound of protein, as you have to cut these things down. Then you can go back to the normal recommendation after the competition. So the bottom line is, we know that protein supports muscle, it supports appetite, the amount of calories you burn, all of it's good for weight loss. So we check that off and we're done. Job 1 done. We just improved your structural and functional performance during body fat reduction. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, now your next question. So that's why we supplement. We just answered that. Your next question, when you get done making sure they're taking a protein and a multi, is this: now, how fast do you want to go? And that's what these are all about. And we're always talking about the fact that these are temporary use of these things to get you there quicker. Instant gratification, make you feel it immediately and look different weekly. So the question is, again, how fast do you want to go? How difficult do you want the journey? Someone write that down. That's a good way to open it up. Well, no one has ever said, I want to go slow, and I really want the journey to be painful. No one's ever said that. Okay, so let's fix that. They're always going to say, I want to go as fast as I can, obviously, right? Well, the goal of these supplements is to allow you to go as fast and healthy as possible and make the journey pleasant. Therefore, they can be discontinued when you reach your goal, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. The second thing you want to say that will get them to want to get these things from you immediately: mindful, the work, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, that it takes me to get you to your goal all your whatever dieting you're following, the supplement, everything else is not the work that it takes to maintain it. Calories can go up a little bit after we get to your goal, but we can't keep them down all the time. You're just going to shrink and go away. So obviously, when you get to your goal, we get to bring the calories up and the workload can be slightly reduced. So you're in a maintenance all the way around. Now you've won them over. Just a done deal. They're going to do whatever you tell them to do. And these are the products that can help them get there quicker and easier. Quicker and easier. Take home notes. Wait, let's just take the first one. And everything you need to know is right on the label, on the product. It's appetite and liver function support. Livers are highest fat burning organ in the body. And it tells the body what to do. Unfortunately, when the body gets fat, so does the liver. See, people always think when I get fat, oh yeah, it's in my belly, it's in my thighs, it's in my butt. Well, I got news for you. If it's there, it's in your liver too. And when the liver gets fat, it gets stupid. It makes bad decisions. Okay, imagine like your brain getting fat stored in there and so forth. Well, the bottom line, liver gets fat, and the liver is the hard drive of our body. It tells everything. Everything goes to the liver first, and the liver sends it off. Don't go burn this, burn carbs, burn fat, burn this, and then it gets all confused and it can't send the right signals. And we end up with insulin problems. We end up with type 2 diabetic or pre-diabetes. We end up all kinds of issues, and the liver is just making bad decisions. So the first thing we want to do with people that are very overweight, especially, is make sure they're using something like this to get that taken care of. The ingredients are here on the listed on the label. Don't be afraid to call out green tea or African mango. There's a lot of great stuff in just the public domain that people are reading about those things. All right, so I just broke this up. We don't need it. We're not going to get into any of the science of it today, but we have big lectures on these things. But these are the ones that are involved in helping liver function. Milk thistle is like a century old treatment for liver disorders. And acetylcysteine, green tea, and then choline is a lipotropic to help remove fat. And then these are the things that are involved in appetite. Green tea crosses over in African mango, significant appetite. We only added that about 2 years ago. We keep updating these things all the time. Make sure you guys know that. So here's some expert presentations putting this product together. And again, I just kind of said the liver is critical to properly burning fats and carbs. So there's a headline for you. When our body stores fat, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, it also stores in the liver, and that changes the way it functions. We don't want that, right? We don't burn sugar properly, don't burn fats properly, all kinds of issues there. So the natural ingredients here, and I always call out green tea extract. Targets mobilizing liver, call it belly fat. You don't have to call it liver fat, call it belly, because that's where it is, right behind the skin, right there. And people, they like it. They think, okay, belly fat, yes. To improve sugar and overall metabolism burning. And African mango to support appetite to make this journey easy, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. And then, by the way, if you want to throw in a little tidbit there, African mango has been used for centuries. The native people would use it to curb hunger while they're hunting food. They would go weeks without food. And this would curb their hunger so they can stay active during that period. And it's a non-stimulant, another take home right there. And you won't need it when you get to your goal, or you get close to your goal. You may even be done with it. So be the good guy in that always. So here's some more. Here's some other little lines here. We have Brian. You guys, many of you know him. One of our top guys here, educators. Eve's got hers here. She'll call out the things that make them feel good. And there's one that I always like to talk about here. Helps the sluggish liver burn more fat. But Eve always likes to call the livers like a drain of your sink. When it gets clogged, it can't do its job, right? Weight loss liver support is a natural Drano for your liver to help support fat loss. People get that. See, these are the kind of one-liners people identify with. I just kind of gave you the sciencey part behind it, but it also ties into these one-liners here. And that's how they develop theirs, to get these in the hands of people that need them. And African mango is the best. I never want you to feel hungry during this weight loss journey. So just some easy stuff that you can give to your trainers and get them comfortable with having a conversation with somebody. Because if we make it, it works. So now it's just a matter of having a conversation with somebody. Okay, and then if there was never an easy product to describe, it's this one. This is nothing than an extract from a white kidney bean, Phaseola vulgaris. And it's an amazing molecule, completely natural, obviously fiber. This is something you can do whatever you want with it, no matter how long you take it. And I'm saying with, almost any of these things, but it inhibits the enzyme that absorbs carbs. So when you're eating carbs, this actually goes into the enzymes that break down carbs. It actually goes and fills that molecule up. So now the carbs pass right through you. Not all of them, obviously, but about 25%. It can work on and reduce it anywhere from 15 to 25%, depending on how many carbs you eat. If you eat a normal carb meal, just an average one, you can reduce it up to 25%. And that reduces also any sugar spike that may be there. So that's how that works. So now you've got it. And then, by the way, it's been tested on diabetics and everything else, and it reduces, the amount of insulin they actually need too. You're not doing that. That's a clinical issue for it, but they've shown that. But anyway, just bottom line, it supports appetite control, feel fuller longer, supports carbohydrate control. Now, one of the things I want you to remember, I put this study in here because I love what they did with this. I just wanted to show you this particular one. But one thing I want you to remember on this whole thing is that you can't deprive your clients of carbohydrates. The average, the people that succeed in maintaining weight loss, and we have a list of all of those are all registered in what we call the National Weight Control Registry in the University of Pittsburgh in Colorado. The definition is you had to have lost at least 30 pounds and kept it off for 5 years. That's a definition of a weight loss maintainer. And guess what? The average carbohydrate intake was between 40 and 50%. Some were as high as 55%. And that's because if you deprive people of carbohydrates, they're going to gain the weight back. And why? Because you're going to crave them and you're not going to be able to stop the craving. So it's you need to have some carb in the diet. And this can help minimize the calorie impact from those carbs. And I love what they did here. They put a whole group of people on a diet here. Same diet, exact same diet. One group used a placebo and the other group just used Carb Repel. And look at the difference here. 3 times more weight loss with Carb Repel. So it blocked that significant amount of the calories all the way around. But here's the better part of the study. They followed them up. After the 12 weeks was over, they followed them for 24 weeks. Free living. Said, get off the diet. Everyone get off the diet. And just some people took, and then these people will take the Carb Repel. These people will not take the Carb Repel, but everyone off the diet. As you can see, almost everybody gained the weight back in this group. 20% actually kept it off for that first 24 weeks. 73% maintained the weight loss on the Carb Repel. Pretty amazing. So it tells you that's free living. So you know it works that well. All right, so just quick little headlines on this. Non-stimulant for appetite and calorie management. Another non-stimulant one all the way around. But what it does, it allows a reasonable amount of carbohydrate to satisfy the normal cravings while preventing a portion of it from being absorbed. And that's your take home overall. That reduces the calorie intake, although you ate more. Everyone needs some carbs in their diet, as I just said, right, to keep from craving them during weight or fat loss, but we don't necessarily need all the calories. And it can also reduce the sugar spikes, as we talked about, for more controlled energy release and supporting appetite. And I always hesitate putting this up here. I don't think I know a single trainer that we ever worked with, or fitness professional, certainly athletes. They don't have. Everyone's got one in their pantry for a cheat day. Again, when carb intake is unnecessarily high. So like yesterday, Cinco de Mayo. When everybody's eating chips, they're eating all kinds of stuff. Take a couple of these before you can block a significant amount of the carbohydrates to keep the body fat from rising from that one cheat day. And again, that's not an excuse to use it. I'm just giving you an example of what it's used for. And when you have everything under control, that's a good reason to use it. And again, you won't need it when you get to or close to your goal. Here's some expert scripts. And now you know why Brian said it's nice in your pocket in case you need it. When we eat, we release amylase. He goes into a little bit of science here, he explains it. But that also gets people in tune. Carb Repel shuts it down up to 25% of your intake. So you'll feel fuller faster, but you don't absorb as many of the calories. Good for cheat days. And if you have wine drinkers, it doesn't block alcohol. Before someone asks the question, it does not do that. You're going to get the alcohol calories, but it blocks the carbs you're eating after the alcohol. It blocks those significant amount. Stimulant-free, natural starch blocker, and natural is important, which prevents carbs from being absorbed. Helps increase calorie deficit to speed weight loss, take before high carb meals. If you're not eating carbs in a meal, there's no point in taking it. So just take it before a carb meal. If you miss that, taking it then, you can take it after. It might help a little bit, but ideally before the meal. And that's an FAQ that we'll look at the end. And then Eves, if carbs are not used as energy, they're stored as fat. True story. Right? Carb Repel can help block 10 to 25% of those extra carbs from wearing them. And that's, of course, if you're over your maintenance. All right, summary on those 2 products right there. Weight loss liver support to support liver health and improve your metabolism. So that's burning fat, right? And carbs, and appetite management. Carb Repel to assist in appetite control. So there's the one liner up here on that with green tea extract and special antioxidants that work to accelerate results, control appetite, natural ingredients to support overall liver health. Healthy, happy liver equals better fat and carb burning and accelerated body fat reduction as you desire. Helps mobilize belly fat to improve sugar and overall fat metabolism, support fullness, and then African mango been added to control appetite to make your journey pleasant, more pleasant. Then carb repel basically inhibits the enzyme that absorbs your carbs, a natural fiber to block unnecessary calories, supporting weight control and blood sugar. So at the end of the day, you're decreasing your carb absorption to feel satisfied sooner and longer. So in other words, you're eating more but getting less calories. So there's a summary of those three products. And now you get to the closer, the big daddy. And that's this one here. And I call them the closer only because it is, I mean, this is definitely the premier weight loss product. If I was going to give anybody one product, as long as they're not adverse to stimulants, and most people aren't, because this is not a hard stimulant at all. In fact, a very buffered one, if you will, a controlled stimulant, very controlled. This one here works on so many different levels in the body. That's why it's as expensive as it is. It works on many different levels. This is the only thing I would give them along with their baseline. Now, again, you can use all three of these at one time because they all go through different mechanisms. But again, that's based on budget, based on timelines, which I'll talk to you about in just a little bit. So the bottom line, what's one here is the controlled stimulant to increase metabolism and daily activities and support appetite through many different mechanisms. But basically, it's a 4-in-1. And it's all listed right out here. So I put everything on one slide for you. It's just kind of cool. This one slide here just shows you the different ingredients. I mean, you should know this. When I talk about a 4-in-1, all of these ingredients are sold separately. You can buy a thermogenic blend with caffeine that is sold all by itself, right? You can buy green tea sold all by itself. Cinetrol is definitely almost exclusively only sold by itself. Capsaicin, which is like the extract from chili peppers, is sold by itself. And of course, Carnalluma fribriata, which is like African mango, but from India, is sold by itself. Well, we put it all in one. So we're hitting everything. And you guys know how caffeine works. It's just it's an adenosine blocker. It blocks the adenosine receptors. Adenosine is that molecule that flies around your body when you're working out. It's flying around your body, and then it goes into adenosine receptor to tell you to slow down and be quiet. Now it's time to go to bed. Well, caffeine, as you drink it, the molecule is identical to the adenosine molecule. So when it gets in the body, it goes into the receptor and it blocks caffeine. And guess what? Now it's on your central nervous system. Your sympathetic nervous system gets fired up. Your catecholamines, your norepinephrine, epinephrine gets fired. You go into a fight or flight. And that decreases your hunger, increases your fullness at that time, and increases fat burning because it always does that when you go into a fight or flight. So all these good things happen with just with caffeine alone. And we know that it bumps your metabolism about 10%. And then when your metabolism is up, you're burning more fat. Green tea, when you add that to caffeine, that increases caffeine's effect because the enzyme that normally breaks down these catecholamines in the body, when we're trying to raise it with caffeine, there's an enzyme that breaks it down. It's catecholamine methyltransferase right here. And green tea actually inhibits that enzyme. Wow, we can keep up higher. Now watch this. Cinetrol, through its own mechanism, completely different, also decreases this enzyme and this enzyme, the two that we want to keep high. So all this great stuff that caffeine started, because it's being fought against in the body. And now we can keep it higher and we increase the fat release threefold. And then finally, you've got the chili pepper. You guys have all had the chili pepper effect. You eat a hot chili pepper, well, that's the real deal. You are bumping up your metabolism. I'm not saying we're going to serve chili peppers to all our clients, but you're bumping it up significantly. That heat that's coming out of you, you imagine how many extra calories you're burning internally from that sweating and all the things that happen there? It is a ton. And the active ingredient in the chili pepper is called capsaicin. And there's a bunch of different levels of that. So we extract this one that has a certain amount of heat production. Once it comes in, it goes towards our brown fat. Our brown fat is the most active tissue in the body. It actually burns far more calories than muscle does. The brown adipose tissue versus the white. The white's the one that we don't like. It's ugly. You can't see the brown. Very small amounts of it around our organs to keep our organs warm so we don't freeze to death. So it uses, all it does is use these calories that you bring in, it uses them and releases them as heat. So it's just like a waste all the way around. So that's what this chili pepper has. So this has become a hottest topic in obesity research right now, how we capture this this particular extract and put it into something that can fire up the brown fat a little bit so you don't feel it, but enough to burn significantly more calories. So we added that as well. And that was just a couple of years ago. And then, of course, caramel fimbriata is really not much different than African mango when it comes to cutting hunger. It's what Indian tribes use. I'm talking about in India, what they use during hunts. But it also has a stress reduction because it actually works with dopamine and so forth. Serotonin selective reuptake inhibitor. Okay, that's how this works. So there's also a stress reduction with this, which is why this works so well. And then we add theanine. And that is another stress reducer. This is actually prescribed for reduction in stress and also by balancing caffeine stimulation. That's why theanine is natural in tea, which is why you do not get the same buzz from tea as you do from coffee, because theanine comes naturally from a full extract. Okay, so all we do is just mimic that number and put it in there. That's why it's a controlled stimulant. So here you are, Thermic Cell, headlines. Controlled stimulant formula to increase metabolism and daily activities. In other words, we're not just going to bump your metabolism 10% while you're sitting here, 15%. We're going to make you want to move more because you're going to feel better and support appetite. Combined ingredients significantly increase metabolic rate, daily activities while balancing the stimulatory effects of caffeine. 4-in-1 product. This is your Plateau Buster. Keep your metabolism fired up and avoid those plateaus. And you can always call the names out here. Many of these names are well known. So don't be afraid to do that. As your body loses weight, everyone comes to a plateau, and then you got to do more work or cut your calories. We can over jump that. We can make that so that doesn't necessarily happen. Taking this, I can bump your metabolism up and make you move more during the day, just by wanting to. And guess what? You only need it till you get to your goal. So be the good guy there. And that's why it's the last product in the 90-day pack when you buy it that way. And then here's some other words: stimulated fat burner. And I do like this one here. It's like pouring gasoline on a flame. When things get hot, they burn quicker. Ultimate thermogenic, speed up your metabolism, raise energy levels, manage hunger. Everything in one line. For those who can tolerate stimulants, and you won't get the crash feel. Overcome a plateau. Burn more calories than you would on your own while suppressing your hunger. Says it all pretty much right there. And it speeds up those results you're looking for, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, for those fat loss. So that's it. Those are the three, right? And we have this pack here for those, many of you may carry this. Our big organizations do. They use this almost exclusively for their challenges, so people can just buy the whole box, get all three products. And you can use them as directed over the 90 days, starting off the weight loss liver support when you're your heaviest, which makes sense, right? Get the liver down. Carb repel, just to kind of change mechanism. And Thermic Cell, when you're leaner, you would want a little more help when you're there, and then you're done. So that lasts 90 days. Or you can take them all at once, since they all work differently. Just follow the directions. But you get some extra stuff here. You got a goal setting card. You get your goal adjustments card. Your menus are in here, and this little booklet, examples, food log. This is for someone not using our program. And that was really the original need of this thing here, right? So for non-users of the program, if you're not, you get your menus, your exercise, you got everything you needed. But the cycling, really, the whole idea of the 90 days was really marketing. It was a psychological time frame, 90 days. Now you're committed. Let's go put it out here. It was financially palatable, fairly inexpensive for 90 days, 115 bucks, 120 bucks. And now they're committed. And of course, the purpose I just laid out for you, this is when you're at your heaviest. You would certainly want that. That's when your liver is going to be at its fattest. And we just kind of change targets here. And then the final phase, when you're leaner, you get into the big guy, the closer. And again, you can use them all as directed all together. When Kat and I, we have to work with very special celebrities or something like that for what we call in Hollywood a shirtless shoot. In other words, they've got to be, they have to be very lean looking in a certain thing, but they've blown it. So their director or producer will call us and say, "You got to get this person down. I got to lose 10 pounds in literally 5 days," and we'll do it. We can do anything you want, and these things help them get there. We can do pretty much anything. You'd be pretty shocked what you can do when you know what you're doing. So you do that. Or you got just somebody that's getting ready for a wedding and they blew it. It's too late. They got ready for a high school reunion. It's just too late. So they got to get in a tight timeline. They can take all these things at once and get there a little bit quicker and make it easier on it too, because you're going to have to starve them and they're going to do a lot of work. And this thing's going to help hold them up during that process. And easy and great for challenges, like I said. All right, so I don't need to read any of these. So here's some one-liners. They're right on the box. So just grab the box and read it to them. Don't be afraid to do that. It's right there. Just point it to them here. This is what this does. This is what that does. And we've already seen them there. I just transfer them over here because these are teaching materials for you and your clients, and also for your trainers. If you're going back to work with you, I know most of your fitness managers are owners. So then when you're going back to work with your staff, these are the printouts for you guys. We also all put this all in a separate deck. So you can do that. And you can print it out while you're promoting these products. And here's just some presentation stuff here. This is kind of nice here. Headlines. We'll be feeding muscle starving fat by incorporating nutrients with low calories with this pack. A complete multi-pronged approach to turn 12 weeks of work into 6. And I can prove that all day long, by the way. I can make it even less than that. Or you can say 24 weeks and 12, whatever you're comfortable with saying. I will always say what I know I can prove. Scripts and discussions, properly integrated supplementation, complete kit, accelerates the journey, filling gaps, all the things we saw before. And then supplements will also increase your energy levels, which is important. Help manage appetite with the bonus of only needing it, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, until you get to your goal. That's the bonus. Okay. And here's some other ones, just some one-liners for it. Ultimate 3-in-1. Go to the one-liners of each product. CAT products to speed up weight loss. Take one a month, at a time, or combine all 3. Perfect bundle to help ensure. There you go. So final takeaway that you guys can use. I put everything in one area here for you. So right here, you can use these for any of these purposes here. You can use them for product scripts and presentations, staff training materials, consumer handouts when you're promoting anything, digitally share them anywhere, including on your social media. So here they are. This is your summary dialogue. This is for training your trainers. I just captured all the things in there on one page. So some cool little one-liners here, protecting muscle, all the things we talked about, why we supplement, feeding muscle, starving fat. That's all in one versus what happens with conventional dieting. You should feel better daily and see a significant change weekly. Turn 12 weeks of work into 6. So you've got all this here on one page, and then you've got all the tools here we just looked at. This is your Plateau Buster, Thermic cell, increase metabolism, support appetite, and natural ingredients in this 4-in-1 keeps your metabolism fired up, appetite control to burn more body fat, not lean body mass, through multiple actions. So there's that one. There's that one we already saw, right? So these are just training materials for you. Print them out, give them to your clients, give them to your trainers as you're working with them. It's all written out here for you. This is exactly what I would say if I was sitting down with 100 trainers in a gym. And I would just sit here, this is what you want to know, this is what you want to say, and you can just print this out and show it to your customer. You can send it digitally, whatever you need. These are all the things we already looked at. Just, again, your teaching materials, and then finally, all in one. So there you go. Just these 2 slides we just looked at, this one and this one, has everything that we just talked about on 2 slides. You could actually teach from that. Okay, so we'll end with the FAQs, then we'll open it up. FAQs, the client asked me if she should still take the weight loss liver support in the morning if she's not eating breakfast, because it does say take it 30 minutes before, and that's just for the African mango, but you don't really need to. Bottom line, you don't. You just take it 3 times a day. That's what you need to do. Or take it right before a meal, or should you wait till later, right? Okay, well, here's the answer. The bottom line with weight loss liver support, I didn't say this with carb repel, weight loss liver support, it should be consumed 3 times daily and separated as easily as possible, which means that take it even if you're not eating breakfast, take it in the morning, and that way your levels are always saturated all day. They're even. We call that a half-life. The supplement, after about 4 or 5 hours, the half-life is now in a place now it's below its efficacy level, and then you take the next one. And then you take the next one after that. And that's how it works. So you'll be fine with this if you miss the timing on it. Don't worry about it. Then this one here we already answered. Can I take the lean pack products daily or individually over the 90 days? And we answered that already, but you can do that. But here's the other one here. Client asked me if she should take carb repel before a meal if she's not eating carbs at that particular meal. Also, what if they forget to take it 30 minutes before a meal? Can they take it right before, or should they wait? Boom. No, you would not use carb repel if not consuming carbs, or very little carbs, such as vegetables or a little fruit. If you're only eating vegetables, which are carbs, and fruit, you don't need to take it. Okay. If you're eating, starchier carbs is really what it's all about. And you should have some starchier carbs in your diet, so don't forget that. So, and carb repel is what it's used in clinical trials, is taken before, but it'll still work. It just won't work as well. If you take it close to a meal, it'll still work. It just wouldn't be the same if you took it 30 minutes before a carb-containing meal. So there's your answer. And then it's just, do you recommend taking carb repel? This is another one. They always ask about mixing things, comes to the same answer. You can use any of the ones you want together. So that's it. And then your promo materials, you got this in a separate deck as well. These next little slides are all live links. So whatever you're promoting, if you click on this, this is a good handout for your trainers. It's a 1-pager rather than 75 pagers on each product that we have in the practitioner dietary supplement guide. This is just the one, what we call quick reference guide for trainers or clients. And then click on here for your 1-page display. If you're only promoting one product, click on here. You can print these out poster size, put them on your front desk, put them on your counters, whatever you want. You can share them social media. Same thing with the infographics. These are very cool. We have 2 different types of infographics on every single product. Click on, once you go to these links are live. Click into here and then go to the product you're looking for. And of course, our videos, anywhere from 1 to, actually have 30-minute videos on many, but 1 to 2 or 3 for consumers, share them. And again, we spend millions of dollars on these assets, and people that use them see their numbers go crazy. It makes it easier for the trainers to use, to be able to present these things. And then of course, this is just your marketing console that has all the different things. And we have 1-minute promotional videos you can put on your club TV. So whatever you're promoting that particular month, every 60 minutes, you can run a 60-minute video on that particular product. We have one for all of them. And there you go. New posters for those of you who haven't seen these yet. These are pretty cool. The dotFIT difference, which is a whole lecture in itself. The 6 things here that no one else does the way we do. Of course, no one else does a couple of these things at all. But the bottom line is it's all listed there in a couple little simple sentences, and it tells your clients who you partnered with right here. They're trusted by professionals and the largest provider of third-party tested nutrition programs in the sport and fitness channel. So you got all that, and you can add your logo to it as well, as you can see here, and print them out any size you want. Okay, we're good to go. Let's open up, stop share, and see what we got. So just unmute yourself. Any questions and feedback? So feedback includes, anything that you would like that you learned from it, anything that you wanted to, talk more about. And then of course, questions are just obviously your questions that you may still have that I did not answer through that.
I have one question.
Yep.
So for carb repel, is there a minimum amount of carbs you need to take for it to be effective?
Yeah, that's a tough question all the way around. Generally, listen, if you're taking in about 20 grams of carbs in a meal, 30 grams, I think that would probably be the lowest. I think we'd be right around there. I'm only saying that only because the studies that were done, there are about 8 trials that were done. They were all higher carb amounts, but there were some that were a little bit lower, and they did show a lesser blockage of the lower ones. It is the higher carb meals that were most of us being blocked.
Okay.
And by the way, I thought you were going to ask another question. If you take more, can you block more? Well, I will tell you this now. You will block more. But here's the problem with that. If you block it, where's it going? It's going in your colon where all your bacteria is, and your bacteria is going to love it. But the people in the room with you are not going to love it. So you don't want to, you can take a little more than the dosage recommended, but I wouldn't take like 5 or 6 of these at one time. And by the way, it'll block the carbs for sure. I had to throw one of those out there for sure.
Well, thank you. Another question is, I had a lady yesterday. She was taking the Thermic cell. She only took it one time. She said afterwards her stomach felt really upset, like gurgly almost. She only took 1 tablet. She had a little bit of food. She had 1 egg and half an avocado and had about 20 ounces of water beforehand. Just curious if you have any idea why she may have had like an upset.
Yeah, it's not like everybody in the, I mean, it's unusual, but there are people that will get stomach upset from thermogenics. They will. I mean, the fact that she ate it, she ate food before, because that's the first thing I'll tell you, rather than doing it on an empty stomach, take it with food, right? Eat your food first, but she already did that. So that might just be something that's bothering her. She could try it again. Kat, do you have any advice on that?
I mean, those are fats, so Yeah, I don't know what would
Yeah.
cause the stomach ache in the carbapenem, because once again, it's from a
No,
bee.
not Carbipel. This was Thermic Cell, right?
Oh, Thermic cell. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, any of the herbs can cause an upset stomach,
yeah.
can interact. So yeah, it could just be an herb. Just, some people react different ways to some of those.
Yeah, and she already
ingredients.
did what I would have recommended. Okay, so instead of taking it on an empty stomach, take it after food. And then,
Yeah.
and she still had the upset stomach. So I just think it disagrees with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, try it on an empty stomach. I agree.
Yeah.
That might be much better.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. We use the weight loss liver support pretty much on a regular basis, and we tell our clients to kind of stay with it just for liver function and health. Is that something that we can continue doing and recommend?
No, absolutely. You don't have to take, if they want to for regular liver health, there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't have a high dose green tea. It's low, so you don't have to worry about anything there that would be a problem from a health standpoint. I know that many of my buddies that their livers aren't as healthy as they used to be for lots of different reasons. They take it just like they take a multivitamin, every day, but they take a less dose. So I would drop it down once you've gotten past the using it for body fat reasons, then I would just drop it down to 1 or 2 a day max.
Thank you.
Good question though. Popular question.
Yeah, I have a quick question to go off on the Thermic Cell. Would you recommend a Thermic Cell in replacement for caffeine for somebody who's already drinking coffee on a regular basis? Maybe 2-3 cups a day, especially for weight loss?
Yeah. So, well, that's to yank the coffee out of someone's diet is a tough argument. I know you wouldn't be able to talk me out of it. What you've got to do is you've got to space it, because you don't want to have a cup of coffee with Thermic Cell. You'll probably end up with heart palpitations if you drank 2 cups of coffees and pop the Thermic Cell. Now I know people that have done it. They've taken NO7 Rage with Thermic Cell and had a cup of coffee. I'm just surprised they weren't admitted to a hospital. So I think that if you don't want to be I like a 4-hour break. Coffee's half-life is anywhere from 3 to 5 hours, depending if you're a fast metabolizer or a slow metabolizer of caffeine. So I like a 3 or 4 hour break between that. So if you can schedule that your coffee around that would be ideal. But I know you wouldn't be able to talk me out of taking coffee, but yes, otherwise, yeah, do it. I know NO7 though, NO7 Rage, that works. I mean, I love the buzz from that. So for many years back in the day, back in the 24-hour fitness days, we first created that. We were the very first on the market ever. That really, I wouldn't drink coffee because I didn't even feel like coffee when I would use that. It was a much better buzz than coffee.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's that clean buzz.
Yeah, it is. What else we got out there? Someone else here.
Is there any cause for concern if someone was suffering from cirrhosis with any of the supplements in the lean pack?
Not that I know of, Neil.
Yeah,
I don't know if you do, but
yeah, right. I don't think so. Kat would know better, probably all the way around. But if you look at the contraindications, and I know I've written most of them, none there, and could be helpful at the end of the day. But I would definitely clear it. Don't forget, anybody that's got issues going on, any medical things like that, you make sure that you clear it with a doctor. And anytime you do that, don't be afraid to send the link, because no one writes a practitioner dietary supplement guide. No one puts together anything like that except us. And we share those with doctors all the time. And they get blown away when they see it because they don't know anything about nutrition. I'm not putting them down. They know everything about fixing us from other places, but they know very little about nutrition. So this really informs them of what they need to know on that when they're working with their clients on medication. So don't be afraid to send that to them and have that checked. And, but definitely we're not in the clinical side of it. So if somebody's using anything that's in doubt, always clear it with the doc.
Perfect. Thank you.
What else we got out there? Frank Nash's place. Where's that? Where are they? They still on?
I have a question. It's
Yep.
Maybe just I'm interested in the background and when you were developing Thermic Cell. My wife and I have been doing a little bit of study on you mentioned the brown tissue, brown adipose, and so I was wondering, one of the things that we were looking at recently is like the effects of when you get yourself like in an ice bath and then overdo a sauna or hot shower, that kind of thing. Is that kind of the same idea for Thermic Cell because it's accelerating or increasing your body's internal core temperature? Is it the same idea and effect on the brown tissue?
Spot on. And matter of fact, they actually compared freezing people to taking capsaicin in a study. So exactly what you're saying is exactly how they kind of got there. The problem is our clients don't want to, be freezing to death, versus it's probably easier to take a little capsaicin. I mean, obviously that's the argument for it, but you're spot on. You're right on. That's exactly what happens. Your core temperature is on fire. Trying to fire up, the brown fats being there. That's why one of the big things, about being cold, you add the shivering. You think of the calories you're burning while you're shivering, as your body goes into that involuntary, muscle contraction, muscle spasms there. That's all part of it. And then the brown fat's getting fired up and you're burning all the calories you can to stay internally warm. Yeah, so that's exactly what it's doing. Good one there. Good takeaway there. What else we got out there? Where's Frank's group? Are they still on?
I don't think so.
yourself.
I think
They're
they
not?
dropped off.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they have those group sessions that start right at
Oh,
the
that's
top of
right.
the hour.
Yeah, sure they do,
Mhm.
yeah. Any other last ones? I know we're at the hour and everything, but this is always fun for me, especially on a Friday. That's always cool.
I do have one, Thermosol again. When it comes to age, is there a limit? I know for obviously the younger, probably not, but for older adults that we work with, is there something we should be looking for?
Always hypertension. You don't want to give them that, without some sort of clearance, maybe a half dose cleared by the doctor. If they have medication for high blood pressure, any of these things, which many old people do, older people. So just be careful with that. That's the only thing there. Otherwise, there's probably not an age limit at all on it.
Yeah, did we mention thyroid and anxiety as well?
That's true.
Mhm.
Oh, so that's going to be my next question is, in terms of the lean pack, how would it benefit, or maybe it's not highly recommended for somebody who has a low functioning thyroid? How would it affect?
It possibly could. It could boost their metabolism. The problem is if it interferes with the medication, and that's why you have to run it by the doctor. Yeah, I mean, as a dietitian, for me, I would be open to it, but we'd have to monitor because the patient might as well be taking medication that would boost metabolism. So you just don't want any interactions.
Regardless of whether it's carb repel, weight loss, and liver support.
Oh no, just for the stimulant
Thermic
aspect.
cell.
Just from the thermic cell. But as a CYA, we talk about this a lot, right? Cover your assets. As a CYA, you check with a doctor. I'm working with this client on weight loss. These are the supplements I'm considering. They're non-stimulant. Here's the PDSRG. Please advise.
Perfect. Great. Thank you.
And Bernice, we're not going to let you go until you have a comment. You can tell us about your kids for a second if you like. Unmute. There you go. How's everything in Hawaii?
It's good.
Good. I know you just spent time with Eve. I know that. So
Yeah,
she filled me in on it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
All
We
right,
got
good.
some malasadas.
All right, that's good.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to catch you off guard there, but I just,
Oh
had,
no,
I just had to say hi. I just had to get one last comment here.
good to see you all.
Yeah, good to see you too, as always. All right, listen, everybody. So if there's anything else you have, Kat's in my email, neil@dotfit.com, kat@dotfit.com, eve@dotfit.com. So you got whatever you need there, and really look forward to next month. We'll get there, and we want to try to get a consensus of what maybe all of you would like. We kind of are picking them kind of based on the popularity and what's going on in the season. Like our big organizations, they select their own because they've already got their marketing plan for 12 months out. So they know what they're promoting 2 months in advance. And that's when we do the lecture about a month or two before that on what they're promoting. So you guys, can let us know if there's something in particular that you're looking at.
I think one thing that actually we've never really heard about is the brain support. I know it's for the older crowd, but I think that's one that it's kind of left out there on
Well,
my
you know what
field.
we'll do on that? We'll do a separate one on that because that's not, again, it's never was meant to be a gym product. It is a very popular product for lots of reasons. And a lot of places are now carrying it, but I didn't make it for them. We certainly literally made it for ourselves, old guys, old girls, top CEOs in the world, professors. We made it for all of us. And then next thing you know, people are buying it because it's a very complicated product, you should know. That's why it's kind of slimy on the inside, after a few months of it. It's very complicated, and we can't even find a manufacturer to make it. It took me like 10 manufacturers to find someone that could actually make that formula. We'll talk about it though. It's very specialized, and I'll do a whole separate one that way and invite anybody who wants to show up. But on this one here, we need to talk about things for the majority of your clients and stuff, so that you guys have something to go forward with.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Good one.
All right.
Everyone. Well, listen. Go ahead, Kat.
No, if you guys just need help, writing to physicians or providing additional documentation, and you need help crafting that communication or the links to whatever you need that we have for documentation, just let us know. We're happy to help.
Yeah.
Thank
By
you.
the way, I know these guys, Northwest Fitness there, we talk about them, but we're gonna have a special ranch experience just for you guys. We haven't had one yet now since COVID. But we're just going to bring you all down, and then we're going to bring about 10 other people from our groups, so you can hang out with them and tell them how to do it.
Perfect.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks everybody.
Okay. Thanks,
Right,
everyone.
have a
See
great
you next
weekend.
month.
Have a great weekend.
See you next month.
Next month.
Bye.